The story of American history is being stitched together, page by page, every single day.
I love watching the History Channel, so I feel like I'm on an episode of Oak Island right now.
That's because Aaron Haynes just discovered how incredible his family heirloom really is.
For you to have this is really, really special.
We're at American Ancestors in Boston. It's a treasure trove of genealogy, family history, and experts Haynes hopes will help him better understand a document he found at his mom's house a few years ago. A document given to her by her mother, handed down from her mother.
And I opened it up and looked at it and was very confused on what this might be. And she said, "That's your ancestors' freedom papers." And I said, "Hold on."
Curiosity and questions have led him to experts who hope to have answers.
My role in this is to let the document kind of speak for itself.
Conservator Todd Pattison has made a living out of restoring and preserving documents, whose fibers and fonts can unlock the secrets of the past, helping determine the real from the recreated, the old from the really old, the rags from the riches.
I might be able to notice whether it appears to be machine-made or appears to be handmade. If it's printed, then the printing method, the printing types.
Thousands of documents have passed through his workshop here at American Ancestors, but none like the ones Haynes is promising.
We don't have as much material from more marginalized people, from people that didn't have access to collections and weren't collected by institutions. I think there has been a bias in institutional collecting that we collect, founding fathers materials and we collect wealthy people because we have historically tried to tell that story.
But with this document, Haynes is helping write a new chapter in the story of his family and so many others.
These names were hidden for a really long time, purposely obscured. And so just locating the names is a huge effort.
Danielle Rose works on the 10 Million Names Project here, an effort to recover and restore the names of enslaved people across the United States.
I think a lot of people don't think about what they may have in their home when it comes to contributing to history.
As anticipation builds, Haynes unfolds his contribution. And right away, Conservator Todd Pattison knows it's legit. A folded piece of parchment, almost 200 years old.
Again, the 1817 would be just the seal date, but the actual document would have been produced in 1834.
Okay. Wow.
It's quite impressive.
Impressive because the document is intact, the text still legible, and in the corner, a name. Samuel Jones, 21 at the time this document was signed, declaring him a man born free in Anne Arundel County, Maryland.
A lot of free Black people needed to carry these documents so that they could avoid potential recapture, kidnapping, back into enslavement.
The document also describes Jones as having a light complexion, standing 5'7" and having a small scar on his left hand.
The more documents that you can find for African Americans, especially before the end of the Civil War, it's a real treasure.
A treasure light and thin, but to Haynes heavy with history, honor, and empowerment.
Knowing that probably I'm here because he did this step. Just a feeling of just being grateful of what I have and feeling grateful of what my family has been through, and knowing that through these trials and tribulations that we can just overcome any obstacle.
One obstacle down, one question answered, now a door open for more research into his past.
The weight of it, I don't think haven't realized just how much it just weighs in on just the history of not just my family, just of this country itself, and what it means to me as just an African American man, knowing that I have a relative's freedom papers. He'd just be very proud that we're able to reach out and help uplift his history and his life in as best way as possible.
And American Ancestors is looking into the Hayes family tree to learn more about Samuel Jones in hopes of filling in some of those gaps between them, those missing pieces.
Yeah, and if you'd like to delve into your own family history, we have a link to American Ancestors on our website, WCVB.com.